Good afternoon, and thank you. It's one thing to bring coals to Newcastle. It's very much another thing to bring tales to Canterbury, but that is what I was asked to do today. And I had, in fact, prepared a reading, and then when I got here, Jennifer very kindly said, no, you're a storyteller. Tell the story. So I'm going to be doing something for you that I frequently do for middle school children. I'm presumptuously retelling Chaucer's tale. But I want to piggyback on Leonie's images to make a metaphor for what goes on with telling and retelling. It's very much like taking those precious fragments of glass and disassembling and reassembling, assembling them in a new context for a new audience. Somehow, the DNA, the original intention of the artwork, the scriptural story, or the tale, it somehow lives through all those different manifestations. And the story that I'm going to tell you, The Pardoner's Tale, one of the tests for a story being a folk tale at its core is that if you hear it once, could you tell it again? It's one way that scholars will differentiate between a literary story and a folk tale. And The Pardoner's Tale, very much at its core, I'm convinced, is a traditional folk tale, just because of the ease with which it tells of these rioters, these three young men from Flanders, who were sitting in a tavern even before the bell of prime had rung in the morning, and they were drinking. After a night of gambling, after a night of women, after a night of song, they were drinking and drinking. And in the height of their riotous fun, they heard a little bell clanging out in the street. And one of them looked up and said to the innkeeper, "What's that noise? What's that bell? Go see what's happening here." And the innkeeper said, "Gentlemen, a little respect. It's a corpse bell. That bell is being carried in front of a coffin on its way to the grave. A little respect." "A corpse? Another one dead?" said one of them. "They're dying by the droves in this town." The page spoke up. He said, "Yes, that man, he was standing on his feet just last night drinking, but that thief, Death, came and cut him down. And now he's dead. Death has stolen his life." The innkeeper said, "The boy's right. Death is like a thief. It comes every night over and over and takes the lives of old and young and men and women." And the three rioters sitting at the table, they said, "Who is this Death? Exactly who does he think he is, stealing the lives of the young? He better not meet with us. He better stay away from us, because if we find this Death, Death will die." "Gentlemen," said one, "how about it this morning, right here and now? We'll do the world a favor, the three of us. We'll go and we'll find this Death, and we'll rid the world of him." And the three men stumbled, staggered up on their feet, and they swore a pact of brotherhood. Then and there, nothing would break up this pact, these three. They would go and find Death, and they would kill him. And they stumbled out into the daylight, and they stumbled down the road, not far, half a mile or so from the inn, where at the side of the road sat an old man. No, an old man. No, an old man. And he said, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Where do you travel in such haste?" And he said, "Never mind that. Who are you? And how do you get to be so old? People in this neighborhood are dying. Children, young men, younger than us, in the prime of their life, they're dropping dead. And you sit here, old." You're a friend of death? Is that it? Gentlemen, gentlemen, he said, I have tried many times to trade away my age for youth, but no one would make the deal. Would you? Never mind that, they said. You're on good terms with death. Death is your friend. If you know where death is, you'd better tell us now, because we're looking for death. Are you indeed? 3 fine young men searching for death. Sounds strange, said the old man. But if you seek to find him, I can tell you exactly where he is. Indeed, I left death not far ago. Beyond that hill, just the other side, there's an oak tree. Come on, off the path, over the hill, under the oak tree. You can't miss him. Death is waiting for you, and he's not afraid. Good day, gentlemen. And the 3 men went tearing off the path and up and over the hill. They saw the crest, the oak tree, the top of the leaves. They came over the side of the hill, and there among the roots of the tree, that ancient tree, there they saw 8 bushels of gold florins. 8 bushels of coins, and they were dripping out of the baskets. Death went out of their thoughts at once. Who cares about death? They said, look at this, gentlemen. Look, brothers, the stuff of life. Here it is. It's all ours. 8 bushels of gold. We'll take this home. We'll live. We'll gamble. We'll drink. We'll sing. We'll dance for the rest of our lives. Who needs death? We have life. And they clapped each other on the shoulders and congratulated one another. But one, the oldest, he said, now just a minute, brothers, just a minute. We can't go walking through the streets of the village carrying this gold. We'll be hung for thieves, for taking our own property. There's such a thing as the tax man. You've heard of him too. You know, we'll stay here till it gets dark. And then we'll carry the gold to my house, or your house, if you prefer, anywhere we think safe, and we'll divide it up 3 even shares. But we're bound to get hungry waiting for dark. So I say this, we'll cast lots, and one of us will run to the market down in the village and bring back wine and bread. We'll sit here and eat and drink, and then when it's dark, we'll carry the gold safely home. A good plan, an excellent plan. The 3 sworn brothers, they cast their lots, and it fell to the youngest to run down to the marketplace, and he was off in a hurry, leaving 2 behind with the gold. 8 bushels. Nice, huh? Yeah, 8 bushels 3 ways. That would work out quite well. Yes, but I'm thinking. My math isn't that good, but 8 bushels 2 ways. Now that'd be something. Well, it would be something, but there's the 3 of us. Yeah, there's 3 of us now, but it doesn't have to stay that way. My friend, what are you thinking? Just suppose he were to come back, and just suppose you were to say, you weren't quite hungry yet, work up a little appetite, for the bread and for the wine, a little wrestling. He's always saying what a great wrestler he is. You wrestle with him. And when you have him down on the ground, I'll take my sword right through one side and out the other. And then you come up behind him with your dagger straight in the heart. 2 ways. I like your math, my friend. I like it fine. Very well. We'll wait till he comes back, and we'll dispatch him. So they sat with the gold, waiting for their victim, who had run off quite innocently, quite happily down to the village. He got fine bread and good cheese, and on his way out of town, he made one more stop at the apothecary. And he said, terrible problem these days, rats in the basement. And there's a polecat in the yard eating the chickens. Do you have poison? Something good and strong. Got to get rid of these rats. Well, there's one, said the apothecary, but I tell you, size of the grain of rice, one drop of this, it's enough to kill any man. You've got to be careful with this stuff. I'll take it, he said. And then off he ran and got 3 fine bottles, and in 2 of the bottles he put the poison. And he filled them generously with fine wine, a good last supper they'd have. 2 out of the 3. And he ran on back to give the fools their meal. Well, he's back, they said. Where have you been? What took you so long? We'll have our snack, but you know, I've had it with you and you're threatening to down me with wrestling. Before we eat, you and I, right here under this tree, let's have it out. A good wrestling match among brothers. Give him his last wish, the youngest thought, and he was on his feet. And they began their wrestling match. But it didn't get too many rounds before the third raised up his sword and in one side and out the other, and the other came up behind him and right through his heart, and he fell dead beneath the tree. And the other 2, well, you know, murder's thirsty work. But look, the fool brought us wine. Will have his own funeral feast. They did have one chance in 3, but they uncorked the bottle. They poured it out. They drank to their sworn brother. But by the time the sun had set on that oak tree by the hill, all 3 of those young men had found what they were looking for. All had found death. The Pardon's Tale. Thank you very much.